First and foremost, guys, good to see you. Happy December. How you guys been? I know everyone's going to be popping on here over the course of the next. Nazar, do you want to say anything to get us started off here, brother man?
No, let's get going. We're excited to be able to have everyone on this week's episode of Class. So
Master frickin' class. Here's the good news. Good news is 2024 is about to be behind us, right? I know that, I've had bunch of coaching calls this week, planning out doing things with some of the largest teams around North America. Some of them having their best years ever. A lot of them having their best years ever. But I think invariably the real estate industry right now is ready to put a nail in this coffin called 2024 done, and be able to get our crosshairs on 2025. How many of you guys are excited to be writing 25 on your checks if you still write checks instead of 24 and be done with this shit, right? Like, let's go. Like, put this year behind us, Zach, and let's move forward. And as I've been thinking a lot about this whole concept of best year ever. And I want to sort of, Kevin, good to see you, man. So like, really good to see you, brother. It's been a grip of time. As I think about, I know all of you are looking at 2025 and you're like, how many of you guys are committed to are like 2025 has got to be my best year ever in the business. And I want to be clear on something, Don Marie. 2024 was, and I'm gonna use a word that I normally don't use, but I'm gonna use it to be able to describe it. So just bear with me. It was a bitch, right? So across the board, it was a grind. It was tough. It was difficult. There are very few people that I talked to that came to me and said, hey, this was an easy year. This was a year, guys, where we worked harder, maybe made the same. Some people worked harder, made less, right? And, obviously part of my intention always is to help you look at 2020, this upcoming year, with some optimism, some enthusiasm, right? And just some determination in terms of this next year being better than the previous year. We are in holiday season, is what some people call this right now. Okay. But I want you to write something down. I want you to write down holiday season. Just write down holiday season, holiday season. I want you, Kim, to circle it and put a damn line through the middle of it. And I want you to write underneath it, we ain't in holiday season, Christina. Christina, good to see you. We are in separation season right now. This is separate. I'm calling this separation season. Why, Teresa? Well, because we know that the normal agents out there in your marketplace, what are they doing?
yes, off the pedal.
Yeah, that like affect with this short little window that we had between Thanksgiving and Christmas of 3 weeks. I guarantee you, this is some interesting data that I want you guys to recognize. 52% of all agents didn't even do a damn deal in 2024. Think about that. That means that we got about 1.4 million agents. There's 700,000 of them that didn't even do a deal. Do me a favor, point at yourself and say, I am glad I am rich and sexy. Just do it for me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I am glad I'm rich and I'm sexy right now, right? And so when you look at that, you look at, why is this separation season? This is separation season, my friends, because if you're willing to do some fundamental key things over the course of the next 20 days, we got about 19 days left. In fact, write down for me. I put this together. I put down, we've got 10, write down, I got 10 business days. And I subsequently have, if I can get this piece of paper to work, 19 calendar days. We got 10 and 19, 10 and 19, 10 business days, 19 calendar days to be able to make sure that January is a great month, that February is even better, and March, right, shoots us out of the cannon. Do you guys agree with me, yes or no on that, right? So now, granted, check it out. A lot of you have been doing good hard work in November and you're letting that roll over into December. But right now, this is not based upon the market. And this is what I'm telling all of my great teams, the team leads, and also all the agents on those in those organizations. This is not a normal year. This is not a let's take some vacation time. This is a let's push harder than we ever have for these 19 days. Are you guys with me on that? Yes or no? That this is a nose down, gritty, determined, right? If we really want to capture the market. Now, this year, We're going to come in at about 3.7 million sales, 3.7 million. Normal year, 5.3 million. All the, like, guys, gals, it's the lowest that it's been since 1995. This is the most constricted real estate market since it's been 1995. So for me to all of you, I'm like, good job. You're still here. You're with the right organization, right? And how many of you guys had a pretty decent year? I'm just sort of curious. Like this year wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Maybe some of you had great years, which is fantastic. Craig, I got a couple of teams that are up $2 million, $1 million, $700,000, right? They had phenomenal years. Why? Because they over-indexed on fundamentals and they outworked the market. Does that make sense, guys? Yes or no? Okay. They just outworked the market. And I knew, Nazar, like I knew a long time ago, and this is something that I learned from Mike Ferry, that, and you may want to write this down, write down, there is no market or problem. There is no market or problem so big that I can't outwork it or out prospect it. There is no market so challenging or problem so big that we cannot outwork it or we cannot out prospect it. I have a mentor of mine. His name is Dan Pena. If you get the chance to watch or follow Dan Pena, his name is Dan Pena, P-E-N-A. He's called the $1 Trillion Man. He makes Mike Ferry, DJ, look like a lightweight in terms of the intensity and just the up in your face. And he was talking about why he had been so successful. This is a guy that has generated over $1 trillion worth of revenue in his lifetime through capital raise and other things along those lines. And it's a brilliant thing that he said. He said he had someone come into him and say, why were you so successful? Why were you able to beat everyone else? And he said, it was really simple. I outcalled them. There's a guy that's probably worth $1 billion and said, I simply outcalled everyone else. And I want to throw this out at you guys here today. I'm going to give you today, you got 10 days, you got 19 calendar days. I want to give you about 7 or 8 different steps that I want to see you guys doing in the next 30 days that I've got every single person, all these top producing agents doing right now. Would you guys like to know the plan that I have them on, that they're pushing on for the next 30 days? Everyone just raise your hand with a big smile and say, yes, coach, on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes, coach. All righty. Right. But here's what I put together. He said, and he was talking to, Dan Pena he was talking to a group of individuals that are venture capitalists in Nazar. And he said, you are 2,000 phone calls or conversations away from $1 million. Now I went, that's interesting for people that are actually raising capital or VC or whatever. I did the math and I want you guys to write this down for me. I am 6,000 prospecting conversations away from being a millionaire. Think about that for a second. I am 6,000 prospecting conversations. Oh shit, here goes Pipes talking about prospecting again. Kevin, I'm never going to take my foot off the gas on that, man. It's going to be a conversation that I keep saying until the day that I die, right? But if you look at this, my friends, check this out. If you recognize that every 100, Craig, conversations, this is the norm right now. Please write this down. 100 conversations typically equals a closing in today's world, in today's market. Does that make sense, guys? 100 conversations, Kevin. Now, go back to 2020, go back to 2021, Craig. You and I both know that number was 40 or 50 because the market was more robust, but the market that we're in right now, and also Christina, depending upon your business model, right, that number could be a little bit lower, but based upon our tracking, it's about 100 to 1 right now. And if you say 60 deals equals $1 million for most of you that are on this call, maybe a little bit less, then you're looking at anywhere from 4,000 conversations in a year to 6,000 conversations. You're earning $1 million. Does that make total sense, guys? Yes or no? It's simple math. And when you get that and you're starting to look at 2025 comparatively to 2024, right? We just simply need, because the market is what it is, to have more outreach. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. We just simply need to be talking to more people until the market picks back up and we can pull back down. Right. So it was a great thought. And when I was watching it, and I actually reached out to Dan and we were DMing back and forth. He goes, Bill, it's so simple. People just simply don't get it. And we've moved away from that. Now, What I'm about to take you guys through right now, right, is about 6 different steps that I truly believe every single person needs to be doing right now for the next 30 days. If we look at something that I learned from MFO, from Mr. Mike Ferry, where is it? Write this down for me. Write down 180 degrees. 180 degrees. I learned this from Mike Ferry. Mike Ferry learned it from Gunther Klaus. Gunther Klaus, who was his mentor, learned it from Earl Nightingale, right? So the 180 degree theory establishes if you want to produce excellence, what you're going to do is you're going to look at what your competition is doing right now, and you're going to do what? 180 degrees, exactly the opposite. Does that make sense, my friends? Everyone else right now, Kevin, is pulling back. They're taking their foot off the gas. They're thinking about holiday time. We're going to go, Craig, hardcore over the course of the next 10. But guys, this year, normally I take time off during the holidays. Guess what Coach Pipes is doing? I'm taking Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, but the rest of the time I'm leading from the front. I'm pushing the gas. I'm going strong. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. I am simply not leaving anything to chance, and I want to be an example for everyone that's in my organization. So what I'm going to give you guys right now is the 180 degree plan for the next 30 days. The 180 degree plan for the next 30 days. So I want you to write down number 1 for me. Okay.
So before you begin, I want to take a little temperature in the room because I think there's a group of people that are complacent
Oh,
and
yeah.
just don't care to work more. There's a group of people that say, I don't have enough money in the bank account to freaking make it through Christmas.
Mhm.
And then there's a group of people that say, I have plenty of money, but I still want to freaking crush it. Because if you're in that group that is complacent, doesn't care, then this conversation we're about to have is going to be frustrating for you because
Cool.
you're not going to hear it. If you are starving and don't have enough money in the bank, then you better freaking listen up. And if you're the other group that says, hey, I've got money, but I still want to crush it, like this is the plan for you. So if you're that latter group that just doesn't care and is complacent and just doesn't want to think about working, then like leave the call because this is going to be a frustrating call for you. And this is an invitation to do so. Like, we won't get offended, but you're not going to be happy with what he's about to say. So go ahead, Bill.
Because it actually leans into work. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
it's and listen, guys. Um, I know this time of the year we wanna chill. And listen, I'm encouraging you spend time with family. I'm encouraging you take some time off. But I'm also encouraging you to recognize the work that you do. Watch this. I'm very clear, having been in the business for the years that I've been in the business. If an agent has a good January, right? Does it impact your mindset? Yes or no, guys? You guys tell me. If you have a good January, Kristen, are you like, okay, cool, right? Okay, I got this. We can go, right? And you're more confident and you have more excitement and you have more enthusiasm. And if you have a good January, there's a good chance that February will be good as well too, minus any type of major market shift or major market change. Then if you have a great first quarter, my friends, then all of a sudden you roll into Q2, Q3, Q4 with momentum, with belief. Okay. The worst thing that you can have is a shitty January because you're in your head and you're thinking, oh man, can I really do this? Is it really, am I really capable? And it begins to have an impact across the board on everything. How many of you guys have ever felt that before? Raise your hand, say I, where you felt, like January went well and you felt like, okay, cool, I got this. Or January went bad and you went, oh man, can I really do this? See, belief is going to be one of the major drivers. And I just want to go back to this. Okay. Back, like there is no challenge, no problem, no obstacle so big, financial or otherwise, that you can't outwork it. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. And it's frustrating for me in this space of real estate that people have gotten away from hard work, that they've gotten away from the grind, that they've gotten away from the push. So here's number 1. Okay. These are simple. Some of them you're going to love. Some of them are going to be a reiteration of things that you've heard me say before. Here's number 1. I really believe that these 10 days that are left this year, work days, it is in your best interest to, number one, suit up, boot up, and get your butt into the office every single day. Suit up, boot up, and get your booty into the office every single day. Now, Nazar, let's you and I just have dialogue on this, man. Do you believe that an agent that makes that decision to get up, get dressed, brush their teeth, go through the entire ritual of getting ready, get in their car, drive to the office, walk into the office, do you believe that agent, right, is going to produce more than an agent that stays at their house, my brother? Yes or no?
So with one caveat, like the people that don't have offices, 'cause some of them don't, like you making a difference of brushing your teeth, getting showered, getting dressed in clothes that where if someone calls and says, "Hey, I want to see a house," you're ready to go out the door and then get to your work office and work there. I think that's just as good. But it's that
Absolutely.
mindset of getting your butt and mental state ready for that experience, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like, listen, guys, I'm buying a commercial building this year. I've already got it in my crosshairs. I'm going to be out building, entire organization that's there. Everyone that in my organization right now are virtual. I'm very clear that my productivity of my company is going to go up 15 to 20% just by having that office and having people in the office. There's zero doubt, right? Like I can, and it's not just me. It's there's studies that have actually been done by Wharton Business School and that's why you look at Facebook, you look at some of these companies that said, "Hey, we're going to go to a more virtual environment." You guys remember that after COVID? And then they said, "Whoa, wait a second, we're going to like retract that, and we want you guys all to come back into the office." Why? Because they knew that productivity was driven based upon people coming into the office, right? So if you don't have if you work out of a home office, you still get up, suit up, boot up, and then you walk through that door and you're like, okay, it's game time, right? You treat it exactly the same. Here's number two. Number two, right now, if we go back to this concept that you're only 6,000 conversations away from being a millionaire for the year. Think about that. You're only 6,000 conversations. Some of you, this number, because you're more effective, could be 5 or 4 or even 3, but you're only 3 to 6,000 conversations, dialogues away. Then I want to establish that ritual, that routine now. Okay. So, number 2 is this. Every single person that we're working with right now, we are pushing for those 10 days. And all I'm asking for, Craig, is a sprint, baby. Does that make sense? I'm not asking for this to be a marathon. I'm asking for you guys for the next 10, 19 days, 10, 19, to be able to put the nose down and say, okay, cool. For these 10 days, I'm going to do number 2, at least 2 hours of lead follow-up, lead generation, right? Prospecting, whatever it is that you want to call it. But I'm going to set a minimum standard of 2 and potentially 3. Nature abhors a vacuum. This time of the year, yes, there's less activity than what we've seen other times of the year. As we get closer and closer to Christmas, the holidays, right? All right. And to New Year's, you're going to have a little bit of additional free time. There's no doubt at all about that. So your choice is, since we say nature does not abhor, means doesn't like, it abhors a vacuum. If you have this additional time and you don't fill it with something, then it'll be filled with distractions, right? It'll be filled with things that may not be healthy, vibrant, etc. for you. Why not fill that with income generating activities, my friends? Okay. So, like right now, everyone in G3 is 2 hours a day. Some people are 3 hours a day, and we got other individuals that are 4. And I said to them, it doesn't need to be for the entire year. It just needs to be for this sprint. Now, watch this. If I take these 10 days or 9 days or 8 days or however many days it is that you're going to work, and you're pushing really hard, well, you're going to roll into 2025, right, with momentum. You're going to roll into 2025 having proven something to yourself. You're going to move into 2025 with belief versus it being the normal agent consideration, which is, oh man, it's after the holidays. I'm a little hungover emotionally, energetically. My enthusiasm isn't there. You'll have a running start on the year, and that will have a huge impact. Here's number 3. Number 3. Now, this is a tactical strategy that I'm going to encourage every single one of you to do. If you have Fellow, if you have some type of system, this is a very easy thing to do. It is something otherwise that you're going to need to do yourself. Again, I have additional time. How many of you guys, because of the fact that there aren't as many appointments during the holidays, there isn't as much time being pulled in multiple directions for your business, that you notice you've got a little bit more time? Like you just have a little bit more time. Maybe not personally, but professionally. You're not going on as many listing presentations. You're not out showing as many properties. Do you have that right now, guys? Or does that happen around the holidays? Yes or no? I'm not talking personally, I'm talking professionally, right? Okay. So, number 3 is this: start reaching out to all of your past clients. Start reaching out to all of your past clients. And you want to start doing 4 to 5 CMAs, like for those clients, like one CMA per client. Right? So let's say I've got Kim and I've got Kevin and I've got Kristen and I've got Dawn Marie that are my past clients for Monday that I'm calling. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a non-solicited CMA via email that basically says, hey, Dawn Marie, it's the end of the year, right? And as we end this year, the real estate market has had its ups and downs. However, I wanted to put together something for you so you could see the performance of your home's equity over the course of the last 12 months. Here it is, and I'll be giving you a call, right? And so then I'm doing 4 or 5 of those a day. Now, why is this important, right? Well, I've got 10 days. I've got 50 of those that I can send out. The numbers stack up like this. Every 6.5, write this down for me, please. Every 6.5 that you send out, a listing opportunity shows up. That's based off of data of over 2 to 3,000 of these that have been done. Many of you guys know a kid by the name of Devin Tyron. He's in Hawaii. He was very active inside the Tom Ferry organization. Really great guy. He and I he took this. This is something that was created a couple of years ago that I created, right? And he rolled this out. He's been so successful with it that he uses it as a marketing tool for farming. Now, this is just what I'm saying is point number 3 is just for your past clients. Does that make sense? And primarily, you want to be looking at this, Kristen, for your past clients who you think has had appreciation over the course of the last year, right? You may not want to send it out to those who bought this year, their value's gone backwards, right? I may skip over that, but I'm going to look at the ones that I think, oh man, this will be great news. Now, why? Over 70%, when this market turns, over 70% of your listings that are going to become available are going to come from that one source, right? They come from past clients. They come from referrals of past clients. They come from your sphere. And so, Joan and Doug, what I'm doing, I'm chumming the waters. Okay. I'm taking that and I'm saying, who is the person that has some type of interest that I can actually then keep in my follow-up, so as the market begins to get more robust, right, that I'm able to actually like shoot fish in the barrel at that time. Now, Christina, I would not stop until I get done with my entire database of people who have had upward, I think have had upward appreciation. Just because I've only got 10 days to do this, right? Where I'm working between now and the end of the year, doesn't mean I don't continue this into January. I would continue this. This has been such an effective technique all the way through until I'm through that entire thing. If they want to sell, great. Okay. Right. If they don't want to sell, perfect. I at least provided value for them. And it's better than me just calling Jen and going, hey, Jen, happy holidays. Hope you and the family are doing fantastic and that you enjoy the holidays. I want to end the year providing value, bringing insight to them, and potentially pulling in some new leads. Now, write down number 4 for me, if you would, please. Write down the
Well,
date. Yeah,
can I just
please.
add something real quick? For those that are in this room that don't have a lot of past clients, adopt them. Go to your MLS, look at the ones that have sold in that sweet spot years that you know are gonna have a ton of equity, and adopt them, right? Go to their house, say, "Hey, you've been here for X amount of years," and you can do it strategically where you can say, you can go to the homes that sold in, call it December of 2020 to 2020, or 20 to 2023, whatever those years are, and go to their house and say, hey, congratulations, it's been 3 years since you bought your house, or it's been 2 years since you bought your house, or whatever it is. And I'm sure that their agent has not followed up with them, and their agent is long gone. And so you can adopt those types of people and say, hey, would you like me to send you your equity report? Would you like to know how much equity you've gained in the last 3 years? Congratulations on buying this home. And so you can create that list, even though if you don't have a ton of past clients, you can still get the name, the same 6.5% potentially from them, from that group, because they're going to want to sell.
Totally. And you know what, Nazar, I always say this to the individuals that don't have a lot of past clients. They have a sphere of influence. That sphere of influence, the good portion of them own homes. Even though you haven't worked with them, your aunts, your uncles, your friends, whatever, right? You have the ability to say, hey, you know what? I wanted to put this together for you, right? I'm sure you could go to Zillow, but this is more accurate, right? If you have any thoughts of selling in the new year, man, let's just talk. Otherwise, I wanted you to be able to actually have this. And so then your sphere of influence becomes a potential client in the future, right? It's a great way, right? And I always love doing this at seminars where I say, people go, oh, I don't have that many people. I go, open up your phone, let me see. And most people have about 3,000 contacts in their phone. There's always people to talk to. Number 4, this is a biggie. Write down for me December the 18th. December the 18th. That is early Christmas. Does anyone know what is happening on December the 18th? If you're keeping an eye on markets, if you're listening to Logan Motoshami, like I challenge you guys all to, or Mike Simonson, if you're studying the national market trends, okay, here's what's happening. December the 18th, the Fed meets. So write down December 18th, the Fed meets. Right now, I'm looking at CME, which is the Fed futures, Kevin, on my screen. There is a 98.1% chance of a quarter point cut by the Fed on December the 18th. Now, will that have a positive impact? Will that have a positive impact on mortgage rates? We hope so. We have not seen the movement yet that we did back in August and September prior to the Fed meeting in September. Do you guys remember August, September? Remember how rates were coming down pretty dramatically? They came down almost a full basis point ahead of the Fed meeting. Well, we're not seeing that right now. We're seeing rates be a little sticky. We're seeing them hold a little bit. And remember, 72.1% of all buyers have said rates are the number one thing that's impacting them being able to actually move forward, whether it be affordability or certainty in the market. We also have data, guys. Check this out. We are right now, the last 4 weeks, have seen the greatest appreciation, the strongest mortgage purchase application on the mortgage purchase application index in the last 12 to 13 months. So that says at 6.8% where we are right now, right? We have a bulk of buyers that have gone, okay, cool, we're at 6.8, right? It's the best that it's been in terms of the most amount of mortgage applications for purchase that we've seen in 12 months, right? If rates come down just a little bit, it's going to activate buyers, it's going to activate your leads, and it's something to talk about. So here's what we're doing. December 18th, make sure you watch Jerome Powell. He's not exciting, right? But you want to hear what it is that he says. And then you want to listen to, right, and watch the markets. Go to Mortgage News Daily to get a good bead on what's taking place. They'll actually do a really great unpacking of that. And then, guys, write down on the 19th and the 20th, it's massive follow-up with every single lead that you have that said they want to buy or sell, right, that hasn't pulled the trigger. Alicia, I'm going to call every single one of them. I got 200, I got 300. Cool. I'm going to spend those 2 days really leaning into and bringing this information to them. So I call Craig. I say, hey, Craig, it's Bill Pipes over here with Fiv Realty. How are you? I'm giving you a call back just like I said I would. Craig goes, hi, Bill. I'm doing great. Thank you. Hey, Craig, remember how I promised you that I would call you if I saw any major move in the market that I thought would impact you as a buyer in 2025? Craig says, yes. I go, well, that time has just happened. Did you see what happened yesterday with the Fed meeting? Oh, Bill, I heard about it. I heard they cut rates. That's absolutely correct, right? And hey, Craig, do you know how that impacts you in terms of you as a buyer in 2025? Well, Bill, I guess it makes it possible for me to be able to have more affordability. Yeah, in fact, mortgage rates came down by blank percent, right? 10 basis points, 20 basis points, whatever movement it is that we see, right? Now, watch this. Here's the line that I love. Hey, Craig, can I share with you what makes me nervous about rates dropping? Can I share with you what makes me a little nervous for you and your plans to wait with rates dropping? Now, what would make someone nervous? What is the underbelly of rates coming down for a buyer who's waiting, guys?
Higher prices as more buyers enter.
Higher prices. By the way, you guys saw, you're absolutely correct, Craig. You saw that Lawrence Yun came out from the National Association of Realtors, the chief economist for the last 20 plus years, said we're going to see 4 to 6% increase in home values in 2025. He said there's going to be a 9 to 11% increase in the number of sales. So there's more buyers, prices going up, more competition, right? Which means you're going to pay higher prices. That's the dialogue, Jen, that I want to bring to them. Okay. Yeah. Rochelle, a flood of buyers back into the market. Where we need to be, guys, and I've said this to you before, we need to be at 6.2% around and hold for 30 days. Matasheba of UWM, Fannie, Freddie, NAR, who else? Mortgage Bankers Association, all project that that's going to happen in Q1, that we're going to be in that 6.2 and hold, which means the market gets really aggressive or much more aggressive than it is right now. That's the dialogue to have with the clients to get them off the fence. Yeah, Craig, please, man.
Question. I mean, last time the Fed lowered the Fed funds rate, mortgage rates went up. What would be your dialogue if we see that happen next week? They drop it a quarter point, mortgage rates tick up a bit. What's your dialogue?
So if they do go back up, which they shouldn't, by the way, right? Because the job reports came in and CPI data came in pretty supporting the drop itself for this Fed meeting. The last two Fed meetings, the reason, like the one in September, the reason that rates went up after that is because the movement took place the 8 weeks prior to, right? And the bond market, right? The bond traders were projecting, because there was 100% chance on the Fed futures that the Fed was going to cut rates. So with that certainty, the bonds were being traded. Now, this is me telling you, Craig, it's not, like it's not me, like I would not unpack that with a client, but I would say the 8 weeks prior to the last Fed meeting, what we saw is mortgage rates responded in advance of the Fed meeting versus after the Fed meeting. And because of that, right, when they cut rates, we saw an actual increase on it as well too. Okay. So that would be the conversation I would have. I do not foresee we're at 6.8 rates going up. Could make me a liar. I don't have a crystal ball, right? Now here's the last thing. So there's the dialogue and conversation. But either way, it's an opportunity excuse to bring value, to bring conversation. Remember, with leads, our job is educate them. Keep educating them, keep bringing them information, keep bringing them data so they can make an intelligent decision. And this last little bit, I got two things. And we got a jam. I'm over. Number 5 is this. Master what I call the future appointment setting dialogue. Master, Nazar, can I have 2 more minutes and then wind down, man? Is that cool? Okay. Master the future appointment setting dialogue. What is that? Well, there is zero doubt. And I remember this being active in the business up here in Salt Lake City. As we get closer to Christmas, are there going to be people that no matter what you say, what you do, what clothes you use, right? What dialogue that you have, that they're just going to wait till after the holidays, guys? Yes or no? Yep. Guaranteed. They're out there, right? Especially as we get into next week towards the end of the week. So here's what I've always recommended done for myself and my team when I had one, and also will push you to do. Start setting the appointments for the first 10 days of the new year. Hey, Alicia, I can totally appreciate the fact that you want to wait until after the holidays. If I was in your shoes, I'd be doing the exact same thing. Why don't we do this? Because with the rates having dropped, with the mortgage applications increasing, you and I both know there's going to be a lot more buyers, and we want to stay ahead of them, Alicia, don't we? So rather than you and I talking at the beginning of the year and setting an appointment, why don't we go ahead and put that in the calendar, right? So that we can get our strategy together and move forward aggressively ahead of everyone else. You do want to win, Alicia, don't you? Alicia says, yes. I say, perfect. What works better for you? Like, would that Monday the 7th or Monday the 6th or Tuesday the 7th, morning or after or afternoon or evening? What's better? Now, watch this, my friends. I always knew that coming out of the holidays, I was going to be a little groggy. Not groggy because I was drinking or whatever, but just you lose a little bit of that edge. If you have done 10, 11, 12, 13 appointments that you set with buyers or sellers for those first 2 weeks, you have no choice but to come out of the gates at a level 10. Does that make sense, guys? Yes or no? Right? See, because Kim, I know, hey, Kim, if you're getting ready for an appointment and you got 4 or 5 of them the next week, I know Kim's going to be a stronger version of Kim than if she did not have those appointments. Now, if I set 10 of them, what I found is 3 of them would, and I would say this to Alicia, hey, Alicia, don't worry. I'll give you a call on the 2nd to confirm that because I know plans can change, but let's at least get it solidified in the calendar right now. 30% drop off, right? 10% I have to reschedule, but I'm still walking into the new year with 6 to 7 appointments. Does that make sense, guys? And because of that, I'm at a much higher level of focus, intensity than I would have if I didn't have it. And then last but not least, just write down, protect your energy. Protect your energy during the holidays. Eat, I'm going to sound like mom and dad right now. Eat a little bit better, drink a little bit less. Energy, remember that all mistakes that you make in business are a function of not having the appropriate energy because you cut corners, you don't follow processes and systems, and you end up not, pushing where you normally would. So I'm not telling you, I'm not saying don't go have fun, enjoy your time, but maybe have a fewer drinks. Maybe, cut back on so much sugar because recognize you want to be the best version of you going into the new year. You want to leave and shed the old 2024, and you want to make sure that you have an appropriate energy to attack when the new year comes around. Okay. So, guys, super simple, right? A couple of strategies that I gave you that, are a good reminder. One of which I know some of you probably weren't planning, most of you weren't planning on doing, which is the calls after the Fed. But even if you don't do all 6 of these and you do 2 or 3, you're going to be in a better space to be able to actually push forward and have January be good. January's good. February's has a chance to be better. And March, Q1's good. That means I'm positioned for a really good year, the best year ever. Nazar, I'll turn it over to you, brother man.
Hey, thank you, Bill. You guys, I hope that you guys found this information useful. Like, again, it's those small little nuggets that make a big difference if you just implement, right? If you listen to these things, oh, those are really cool strategies, and then do nothing with it, this is a lot, waste of 30 minutes, right? But if you say, hey, just, even if it's just one, implement it today. Even if you just do it for 1 hour, right? If you can't do it for 2, do it for 1. What I loved about the 6,000 contacts is going to make you a millionaire is that those 6,000 contacts seems like a lot, but if you break it down, it's 27 a day.
That's right.
And that's assuming that you're working 11 months out of the year, right? And us as agents, we don't work 12. Let's just, be real. So let's not be real actually, but you know what I mean? 27 contacts a day. That's all you need to do. And if you focus on that, and if you can't do 27 contacts every single day for the next 11 months, then like Bill said, do it for the next 10.
Just 10 days.
Right? Yeah,
Just
just try it. Just try that exercise and see what type of response you get. And I promise you, just like with anything, just like a muscle or any other thing that you want to work and be better at, if you do it just for a little bit, then you'll start getting momentum. It starts becoming a habit, and that habit becomes a part of your life. And that's when you can become that person. Because guess what? If you want to be a millionaire, but your actions don't line up with that, then that's just a nice little dream, right? But if you really want to become a reality, all it takes is just action, because real estate, like business, like sales, is just math. That's all it is.
I love it, man. I love
Bill,
it.
thank you so much.
I want to leave you guys with, I love that, Nazar. I'll leave you one last thing. I love David Goggins, man. I spent some time with him, and I mean, I'm looking at a picture of DG and I up on the wall right here. And what I love about him is he says, do the hard because it proves to yourself something about you. And I look at these 10 days as an opportunity to prove something about yourself to you. So you go into the new year feeling like a badass, right? Feel, like with swagger, versus going into the new year like most people do, limping across the finish line and with a poor start. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you, Nazar, for having me on, guys. I hope you got some great value out of this. I want to wish you and your families a wonderful holiday season, right? Filled with love, joy, happiness, etc.
Hey,
So,
Bill,
yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to take another second of your time. I looked at my calendar and I was like, what is this flight that I have booked for Nashville at the end of January? And I realized that you're doing an event there.
Yeah, that's right. I got our sales power event. That's January the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. Nazar is going to be speaking. We're going to have him on stage, representing Fiv. For those of you that know me, this is a skill and strategy based event, period, right? Where we're teaching you the strategy. Strategy does include marketing. We do talk marketing in there. It isn't what I lead with, but it is what we support with, because I believe the best businesses are prospecting based and marketing enhanced. So, but if you want to be, this is a skill-based market we're going into and that we're in right now. And the agents that are skillful at their conversations and, codified on their strategies are the ones that's going to win. So 3 days in Nashville. If you want to find out more about it, just go to Sales Power, go to coachpipes.com or salespowerevent.com, Sales Power Event, right? And you'll find all the information there. But would love to see you guys there, to be there for yourself, number one. Number two, for support to Nazar as well, too. But other than that,
Cool.
guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Festivus, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate. Hope it's filled with joy and love. I love you guys. I appreciate you all. Thanks again for giving me the chance to be able to be here with you guys. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.